Hello there, and welcome to episode 159 of Dude and a Monkey. My name's Ian Loring. As always, I'm joined by
Mark Foster. Hey guys.
Yeah, keeping it nice and chill.
Keep it nice and chill.
Yeah. I bought a 4-pack of Magnus today because work was it was a bit intense today.
Yeah, you were on a complaints apparently, weren't you?
I'm on complaints all week.
Ooh, that sounds just horrible.
It's not great. It's not great. And the thing is, a lot of the time I listen to the calls that some of my colleagues make, and I just think, yep, fair enough. You've 100% got a right to complain there. He doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, that's fine. But that guy, this other guy, yeah, he said he was going to do all that for you. There's no way he's going to be able to do that. Don't know why he said that. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I can imagine it can be quite frustrating because you kind of, knowing a lot of these people, you're kind of thinking, I want to be on their side because, we're on the same team, and then you listen to it and you go, oh, but you're not making it easy, guys.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I've got a 49-minute call I have to listen to tomorrow. And that's going to be great. 49 minutes of my life.
Wow.
So, there's that. So
at least you're getting paid for it, is about all I can say. Is that the only positive spin you can put on that one.
Yeah, well, I got an interview. Well, I should have an interview for a secondment next week, which if I do get, will take me to a different area, and it's a couple of pay grades up. So,
sweet.
We'll see what happens. But Mark spent the weekend in a hot tub.
I did, yes. I spent the weekend away in a hot tub in a little town called Byrne, essentially eating, drinking copious amounts of beer and gin, watching movies and being in a hot tub. I didn't actually go. I got out of the car when we got there at 3 o'clock on the Friday, and then didn't actually set foot in a car from then until this morning, which is Monday, at 10 o'clock when we left. Yeah, I walked everywhere else, and usually when we go to this same cabin, we usually go to Bridlington for the day, essentially just to walk around and be really shitty about the place, because it is a horrible place. Right. I'll give you an example of how Bridlington can be one of those places where you go, oh, come on, Bridlington. There's a waltzers in Bridlington along the front, and along the side of it, it kind of says different styles of music. So it says like rap and rock. And one of them, and I swear to God, and I haven't taken a picture of this, and I really, really should have. I swear to God, one of them actually says black music.
You should have asked him how they differentiate between rap and black music. Considering it's fair to say that rap is predominantly a black genre.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but so yes, we usually go through to that, but we decided against it this time because we wanted to just essentially just chill out. So that's all we did was eat, drink, and chill in a hot tub.
That's very good. So Mark's got quite a bit of what we watched apparently, as do I. So.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'll tell you before we get into what we watched, before we get into the main review, the way that we did it is there's actually there's a DVD player in the cabin, and it's hooked up to the TV in the bedroom and the TV in the kind of living room area there. So rather than sort of take a Blu-ray player or the Apple TV or anything like that, because there's Wi-Fi there, but it's quite kind of ropey, to be honest. Mm-hmm. What we do usually is when we go through to Bridlington, we buy a few sort of DVDs or something from CEX, but we weren't going through to Bridlington this time. So we went in on Friday morning and went in with a tenner's budget into CEX and bought 9 DVDs for £9.50 and took them with us. And sort of like, so we had like a choice of like 9 films we could watch.
That's awesome. Fucking hell, 9 films for £9.50.
Yeah, our remit for what we bought was it had to be the sort of thing that will be on ITV2.
Lost World, Hot Fuzz.
That kind of thing, yeah. But I'll go into what we watched now. I'll tell you what we didn't watch as well, because there's a few we didn't watch.
That's very good. So we will get into that. I'm quite looking forward to that, actually, I must say. But we will be reviewing Oh, pardon me. We will be reviewing Bad Neighbours 2, or Neighbours 2 if you don't live in the UK.
Yeah, Neighbours 2 Sorority Rising, I believe it's called in the US.
Yes. Doesn't actually come out in the US until this coming Friday, so in the US it is actually a bit of an advanced review. We'll also talk about some trailers, do some questions, the usual chit-chat and whatnot. So let's dive in. Mark, any trailers this week, sir?
I'm trying to remember if I've watched. I think I have. I'm going to have a look and see what I might have watched. I'm sure I watched some the other night. Come on. Let's have a look. The new Nice Guys trailer. Watched that. Yeah, I already sold, but yeah, it looks fantastic. The trailer for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I'm very much up for this.
I'm gonna watch the fuck out of it.
Yeah, it's great because it's got a crazy looking scientist played by Tyler Perry.
That's all I need.
So I'm on with that. What else? I can't remember what else. So you throw a few at me, and I might be like, oh yeah, I watched that as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't watched too much either. The Shallows, the Blake Lively versus the Shark film.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, as long as it's under 94 minutes long.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, it can't be any longer than that. If it's longer than that, it's like, do you know what? Even I'm going to run out of kind of patience of watching Blake Lively in a bikini for that long.
Yeah, no, totally. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it for the kind of genre exercise it looks like it's going to be. Also, the first teaser for the new Dan Brown adaptation Inferno came out this afternoon.
Did it? I haven't watched that, but I imagine it looks terrible and I will really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, Felicity Jones is in it, so she's going to have a good little 1-2 punch this autumn and winter with this and Rogue One. But I'm quite looking forward to it just from the fact that it's about some sort of virus which some madman is going to unleash, and it's like trying to find the source of the virus or something, and that sounds interesting. It sounds like, you know, get your kind of religious stuff going on with a mix of science fiction, and I don't know, it probably won't have anything as grand as Ewan McGregor, like fucking parachuting or whatever the fuck he did at the end of Angels and Demons, but I don't know, I'll watch it happily. Maybe not in the cinema, to be fair, unless there's nothing out that week, but I'll sit for 2 and a bit hours and watch it. Why not?
Wow, have you seen the poster for it?
No.
Just go to Inferno 2016 film on Wikipedia and have a look at the poster for it. It's impressive.
Inferno 2016. Oh, hello, Tom. Bloody hell. Look at that.
Listeners, please also join us in looking at this and looking at Tom Hanks on the front of that poster. He looks like it looks like it's either the cover for a terrible book, which of course is based on a possibly terrible book, I haven't read Inferno, or a really shitty looking PSN game.
Yeah, that's actually... It's like that Bruce Willis PlayStation 1 game, Apocalypse. It kind of just looks like he's just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Yeah, alright then. Yeah, oh, it's a big red thing. I'm not too sure if I want to go. He looks like he's just going, I'm not too sure about that.
Wait a minute, you want me to go down those stairs? I don't like the look of that. I'm not doing that.
It's like he's questioning the person watching the poster. He's like, you sure about this?
It really does.
Like, seriously, man, how the fuck is that a poster?
How would they expect us to believe that is Tom Hanks without an incredible amount of touch-up?
Oh, every clue will take him deeper. That's a tagline. That's a good tagline.
That is a good tagline, actually.
I want you to take me deep, Tom Hanks. Go on, buddy.
Yeah. Everyone wants Tom Hanks deep.
Deary me. But that was actually it for me, I think, this week. So
yeah, I mean, so I don't think there's been that much out. I think we're in that kind of post Civil War kind of lull before the next biggie to come out.
Yeah, totally. Like June, July, we'll probably start getting the Christmas trailers and whatnot. So.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool, man. Okay, let's crack on then. So, Bad Neighbours 2 is directed by Nicholas Stoller and written by like 5 people.
Yep.
Stars Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, Rose Byrne, Lisa Kudrow again from the first one, doing a one-scene cameo, I think, like the first one. But this time joined by Chloe Moretz as well, and basically Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen are trying to sell their house. A sorority moved in next door, led up by Chloe Grace Moretz, and kind of almost like managed by Zac Efron's character, and hijinks ensue. Mark, your thoughts?
Well, I really, really liked the first one. It kind of snuck up on us, really, because I think we were both saying, look, it's either going to be absolutely terrible or all right, and it was all right. It managed to straddle the kind of the gross outness with actually quite a nice little heart behind it all. And Bad Neighbours 2, we're calling it Bad Neighbours 2 because I can't call it Neighbours 2 Straight Rising because it's worked in my brain properly. Yeah. But Bad Neighbours 2, I dig what it's going for to an extent, and at points it's really quite charming and really quite funny, but at other points it's really it misses so wide of the mark that you're almost going, how can this film do this bit and then do that bit? And the opening 5 minutes I thought were really bad, and it sometimes it attempts to do gross out humour without it really sticking. There's a couple of running jokes that run through it that really stopped being funny really early on. And I do think that overall the good outweighs the bad, but when it's bad it can be really, really bad. And when it's good is when Zac Efron's on screen.
Well, I mean, it sounds like I liked it more than you. I mean, I certainly don't think it's the comedy of the year, and I think the hit rate is very much less than the first one. However, whereas, you know, a lot of sequels in general kind of feel like they're there out of obligation, this kind of feels like they were like, shit, the first one was a hit, didn't really see that coming. Maybe we could actually try and have some mild form of social commentary going on here, and I liked that. I liked how many times they referenced, like, sororities can't have parties. How fucked up is that? I really liked the bit where Chloe Grace Moretz is explaining the stuff, and Seth Rogen's like, I'm absolutely 100% with you. Now my wife is going to tell you why, you know, that might not quite be the right thing to do. You know, it's like the way they kind of acknowledge that, but then still have a laugh with it. I mean, certainly this film is not particularly trying to say anything, but what it does have to say, I think, is perfectly valid, and I think it kind of meshes better than like the end of The Other Guys, where suddenly you've got like a mini lecture about finance, which Adam McKay obviously then kind of developed in The Big Short to greater success there in terms of what that was trying to do. I mean, The Other Guys is hysterical, so don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, that kind of shoehorning in there. I mean, I will say it's interesting that they bring up how such bad parents they are, and they don't really punish them for it, because they are awful parents, and
they are terrible parents. And one of the running jokes that I think that kind of falls flat is the whole their daughter's favourite toy is Rose Byrne's vibrator.
I did like when it was it's a famous Japanese anime character. That made me laugh.
That was fine.
But yeah,
I like that. But the fact that they'd said that, repeated that joke again, and then it goes on again, and then by the end of it, it was just, come on, you're now being a little bit boring with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. Even though, you know, I'm criticising this aspect for it not really. It kind of felt like maybe there was going to be something in the third act about them leaving the kid to it and something going wrong or something, but it never came, and it was, I don't know, it was kind of weird. But I've got to say, the bit with the iPad in Lisa Kudrow's office hit home in a kind of a crazy way. Like, Lottie watches YouTube a lot, and it does worry me that she could stumble upon something, And I even tried downloading the YouTube Kids application, and she doesn't like it. She's like, no, I want YouTube. It's almost like she knows this is some diluted shit. I want the hardcore stuff. And but the thing is that, I mean, like, I look around, and all it is like nursery rhymes, or like people play tangent. Sorry, right. People playing with toys and unboxing videos on YouTube and things like that. Donna was saying the other day, you could actually make a living making stupid fucking videos of just people smushing about toys, and you could make a comfortable living out of it. It is fucking mental. Like, I watched this stuff that Lottie. I hope Lottie listens to this one day. Sweetheart, I love you very much. I watch the stuff that you are watching at 2 and a bit years old, and you are a fucking idiot. Like, obviously, your brain is not all the synapses are firing, and you just like visual stimulus, and I love you, and you're the cutest thing ever, but Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. Anyway, so... yeah, I mean, that bit really hit home. Like, as the father of a kid who's kind of around the same age as the kid in this, maybe I like it more because it's actually it almost kind of feels like it's speaking directly to me at points. Not just anyone in the audience, to me. It's like, you should really watch what she's watching on the iPad. You really should. But at the same time, I do. You know, and also, I don't know, most of these people on YouTube now, they're not, you know, they haven't been arrested for crimes. They will in 20 years. Obviously they will. I don't know. Mr. Tumble on CBeebies. Oh, if anybody knows Mr. Tumble, one day he will be found out. But yeah, no, I mean, sorry, Taylor, but I don't know. I thought it had more than enough laughs. I also really like Zac Efron's arc.
His arc's fantastic. It's... Like I said, I think the film is kind of lit up whenever he's on screen, because he provides such kind of great comedic kind of timing. I think he's got. The fact that Seth Rogen's character can't quite understand him, but the bit where he says, "Right, I'm going to dance for them," and he's like, "What? You think that literally just you dancing is going to be enough to sort of." To distract an entire sorority, and he's like, "Well, yeah, it usually works." And he's not conceited or anything. He's just he's very well aware of what he's good at.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know?
Or the brilliant bit. I think one of the highlights of the film for me is where he's in the sorority house before it becomes a sorority house, and he's saying, I threw some parties here, and he goes through them all. And then they say to him, if you notice that they're all quite degraded towards women, and he kind of looks at him and goes, no. And then you can see him process it through his mind, like it's a complete revelation to him, and he's like, oh God, you're right, yeah. And like, it's completely changed his entire outlook on the world. It is that he was always he was an arsehole, but behind it all, he's actually a really, really sweet guy.
But I mean, absolutely. But I mean, isn't it fascinating that, like, the first one is 2 years old, and already we're having a film commenting on how the practices they were doing 2 years ago are not cool anymore.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's it. The thing is, there's a juxtaposition, I think, here with the film. Is on the one hand, you've got to agree that frat culture has. We don't have it in this country. We don't have frat houses in this country. I still believe there's an element of fratish culture.
I've got to say,
in this country.
There's a shot of in that party early on. There's a shot of like a banner or something saying "No means yes."
Yeah,
and that kind of thing, I think, is in UK uni culture and general lad culture, which obviously needs stamping out. Absolutely,
and that element is something you've got to be behind. You can't not be behind it. The laddish culture and that frat culture it is abhorrent. I mean, it's disgusting, and it needs to be stamped out. So they're highlighting that, which they should be, as a negative, kind of. They are kind of highlighted as a negative, but they're using it as a tool. Whilst also saying, that it's ridiculous that sororities can't have parties, whereas frats can, which is kind of, when you look into it, is a kind of, it's an 80% truth over an actual absolute kind of truth. But overall, it is an accepted kind of thing that the frat houses, the parties, the sorority houses don't really. They go to the frat parties. And that is, again, wrong. And the film is quite literally over and over again telling you, which it should do. But then you hit with another point of, right, okay, we've accepted that you're right there, that you are right up to that point. But then what you're saying is, well, why shouldn't sororities be able to have these parties where they can do loads of drugs and blah, and blah. I say, oh, hang on a moment, right? Although they can do that, it's maybe not right for the target audience of this movie to be telling them to do that. Because, you know what? We both went to parties where there was probably an excessive amount of drinking and an excessive amount of drugs there. Yeah. And we had a blast, right? You know, I'm thoroughly aware that my daughter at some point will go to one of those parties and have a blast. But I don't really want something telling her directly that she should, whilst also saying that but this is morally wrong by saying this is morally wrong, they should be allowed to do this. Like, hang on a minute, I mean, you're kind of having your cake and eating it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the only difference between their parties and the frat parties are the fact that they're not getting fucked, and that's a very, very good thing for them not to be doing. You know, but I mean, well, not. I mean, I'm not being a priss. It's like, it's just, I don't know. Fucking at a frat party is probably not the best way to start a relationship. You know.
No, it's not. But I think we should also slightly highlight the fact that I would say that an awful lot of bad stuff happens at a frat party. I can absolutely guarantee it. But not every incident of sex at a frat party is rape or date rape. I'm guessing there's a lot of girls who go there with the intention of, I'm going to get fucked tonight.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like it's not like college girls don't also enjoy sex.
Yeah, no.
Which this kind of puts across a little bit, I think, at some points.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because they have that thing early on where it's like the montage of their first parties, and it's like the main girls, Chloe Moretz, I can't remember her character's name for life, but it's something Shelby.
Yeah.
And it's like Shelby's like losing her virginity party or something like that. I don't know. It's like, well, what was that about then? You know, I mean, even though excuse me, go. Sorry. Thank you. I do think it's interesting that they don't try and like pair them off, and you know, there are like no male characters their age.
Which is cool. It doesn't. It's not something I like. I like it, but it's not something I noticed while I was watching the film, which was good.
No, exactly. But it's very interesting that you know, like you say, that there's a slight level of hypocrisy here, and the thing is, I mean, Seth Rogen obviously has a pro-weed agenda, so he's not going to do anything to suggest that weed is bad, but I think it does push over a level. Like, I don't know, God, listen to me, if it was me 5 years ago, I'd be punching me in the dick for saying this, but having the first scene of the film be like, hide my bongs.
But that's it. The thing is there, right? There's nothing wrong, right, with the parent of a 2-year-old kid or a parent of any age kid, right, enjoying weed and indulging in weed, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with actually not feeling you have to hide that. But it's a little bit like, seriously, would you have just I accept the fact that this is blowing things, you know, if we're going back to the whole clock face of reality, this one's about sort of where reality is bang on 12 in the afternoon. This is about kind of 2:30 maybe in where actually it sits in actual reality, in the fact that they are letting their kids walk around with a vibrator, and he had like 6 or 7 bongs just wherever in the house, and that's a little bit like, you've gone beyond bad parenting there into dangerous parenting.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I obviously, I don't know. Well, I say parents aren't the target audience. I don't know. Like, I've watched.
We're both parents.
Yeah, I've watched. I really like Seth Rogen. I like Rose Byrne as a comedy actress. I like Nick Stoller films. Like, I don't know, but I do slightly feel like, right, this is aimed at someone younger than me, but what it is actually kind of saying, on the one hand, is good. The the stuff with Chloe Moretz not just fucking everything that moves and, like wanting to start her own sorority for good reasons. That's great. But then at the same time, they are really bad parents, and it's kind of just made fun of.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a, I think the thing is, what they seem to be missing on, or what they try and get round at the end, is that they're not actually bad parents. It's just we're not the fucking mar and part ideal idea of good parents.
I don't know, but no, that's the thing. Like, I think there is a level that you can go where you're not the perfect parent, but you're still all right, and it kind of seems like they're below that,
Yeah. It absolutely does. It seems to be. It seems to revel too much in them actively being bad parents and almost enjoying being bad parents, which kind of steps over a line a little bit into you're almost. It's not funny now. It's getting to be a little bit like somebody should stage an intervention.
Yeah, and as a slight tangent, I think it's interesting that, like, none of the critics I've seen talking about this film have actually raised this stuff yet. And it kind of makes me think, actually, like, how many film critics these days actually have families?
Well, it is a little bit. I've seen a lot of film critics kind of reference the point that it's trying to have a social awareness and try to say something social. And it seems like that has given it a couple of extra stars in some people's reviews. And you know what? It is trying to have something to say. It's just, and what it has to say is, like we've said already, is a perfectly valid thing to say, and actually quite a good thing to say. Doesn't mean to say that it should elevate the movie above, because just because it has a message, people seem to be thinking that it's got more worth than the previous movie, but it doesn't really.
No, I mean it's not as consistently funny as the previous film. Like, the second half is straight up melancholic at times, which is admirable, but considering the film is primarily a comedy, it kind of slightly fails in that regard. I don't know. It's an interesting film. It really is. Yeah, it's a really strange one. I mean, the whole sort of weed stealing action scene in the middle of it was quite kind of strange and bizarre. I quite like that. Yeah.
I really quite enjoyed it. It was the only time that Ike Barinholtz was actually quite amusing in the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean those characters, I don't really know why they were back, to be honest.
No, they're not. Somebody in that sphere and that little circle is really trying to make that Ike Barinholtz happen.
Yeah, no, totally.
And I still maintain he looks like a bad portrait tattoo of Mark Wahlberg on a fat woman's thigh.
He was the one. He's the one who's in Sisters as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He also crops up quite a bit in The League, where he's actually quite good in it, actually. But stretched over the amount of screen time he has here, he's really kind of not kind of worth it, really.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know. Are we kind of done on it, or?
I think we are. Like I say, I enjoyed it overall. I'd like to see if there's an extended cut.
Yeah, sure.
That a little bit extra, because I think it could do. Because even though it is it's 92 minutes, I could have easily watched another 10-15 minutes if it was more like the first and middle act than it was the final kind of act. But yeah, I think Zephron steals it for me. I think he's absolutely fantastic as kind of like the central sort of thing that the film's kind of built around. I think if they'd have built it more around him rather than focusing on Rogan and Byrne's character. Rose Byrne still has literally nothing to do in this movie again. She just kind of walks around and kind of pulls faces and is pregnant.
No, I mean, she's funny, though.
She's funny at points, yeah. It's just, I always get the feeling with Rose Byrne, when she's not given enough to do, because there's quite a lot of times where she's not given enough to do, it's kind of like, do you know what? You've got a really good comedic actress here. Why aren't you doing more with her?
That's fair. Yeah, no, I mean, it does seem like she's got less to do in this one than the other one. Because I don't know, in the other one, at least she could have some fun with, I don't know, with her looks and whatnot. And I don't know, it just kind of feels like, right, she's pregnant, she can't really do anything here. And again, I don't know.
Her character
she's a
seems
pregnant woman, and they've got bongs all over the place. Just saying.
Yeah, and also she seems like the one whose character seems most removed from the character from the previous movie. The fact that she keeps telling everyone to fuck off really quickly was a little bit.
I kind of thought that was quite funny.
It was funny, but it just seemed very removed from the character of the previous film.
Sure.
But yeah, overall, it's a definitely not shit from me, because I actually did quite enjoy it, and I laughed quite a bit.
Yeah, totally. I definitely not shit. I really rather enjoyed it. I really quite enjoyed it. It's you're right, bringing that. You made some really good points there.
I occasionally do.
Nice.
Very occasionally.
Very nice. Okay, so let's get into some what we watched then, and go on, dude. Let's talk about what shite you watched this weekend.
Well, I'll do the ones that I watched before I went away first.
Sure.
I'll do I'll do the few that I watched where I wasn't away. Then I'll let you do a couple. Then I'll do the ones that I watched while I was away. I rewatched Inglourious Bastards.
Nice.
Couldn't see it in a couple of years. Still really enjoy it. It's still probably my least favourite Tarantino. But then again,
you are
that's the least favourite Tarantino. In terms of that, it's still an 8.5 out of 10 for me. So it's there, but it is still my probably least favourite Tarantino. Even though I do really, really, really like it, it's just for some reason there's just something that doesn't quite, I don't know, connect with me like the other Tarantinos do, for me, to be honest. I don't know what, I can't put my finger on what it is, to be honest. And it is the one that I would watch least out of Tarantino's back catalogue, to be honest. Also watched Night of Cups.
Oh shit.
Hello?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Have you watched it? Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'm not fucking planning on it. The reviews have completely put me off, and to the wonder didn't get me. So I don't know whether I can do another fucking 2 hours of wandering around the beach, talking about how I really, really, really miss her, but at the same time I got all this other tang.
Well, what I will say is, it's better than To the Wonder. It's better than To the Wonder.
That is some damning with faint praise. I remember To the Wonder primarily for the fact that Donna walked in when I was about an hour in, and she just watched it for about 30 seconds. Like, this looks like the most pretentious bit of shit I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be hard to disagree with on that, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Night of Cups apparently had no script at all. Christian Bale wasn't sort of given any idea on where the story was going, was basically just told what his character was, and then they just shot it. And that was it. And it is literally almost all of it. Great. Dialogue is voiceover, and it is a lot of people wandering around. It's incredibly pretty. I think it's prettier than To the Wonder. It's incredibly pretty. And there is an idea of a story there, but that doesn't actually really kind of exist. It's an incredibly kind of experimental film, in the sense that it quite literally is just Bale kind of walking around, and you're kind of seeing it with like mumbled dialogue underneath, and then the voiceover's over. But I would say I actually quite enjoyed it. I never need to see it again, but I enjoyed my time enough with it. I love Malik, but his past couple have kind of made me go, do you know what? I love you for how beautiful you can make things look. I do wish though that we could go back to the stuff where you mixed that with an actual narrative of sorts, because it's all right having one of these, it's all right having two of these, but when you're into 3, 4 of these, it's making me look forward to them less and less and less. Whereas 10 years ago, a new Terry Malick film, I was there going, I cannot wait for this movie to come out. Now I'm a little bit like, do you know what? I'm going to enjoy it when I watch it, but I'm not itching to see it because I pretty much know what's going to happen. And that is a little bit what Night of Cups is like.
Yeah. I just don't know whether I could put myself through it.
I'd say get to it rather than watch it. At some point, maybe stick it on, but it's not something I'd absolutely rush to see.
No, I mean, it's so weird, though, because Malick, famously, it took ages to make films, and it kind of feels like, dude, just take 8 or 9 years to make a film. It's fine. Just,
I mean, this was shot really, really fast. The actual shooting of it only took, it was shot like about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
more than that, 4 years ago.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting where a Terrence Malick film comes direct to VOD in the US. You could just can't find it in the UK basically, and it's Terrence Malick, and I think that probably says something to the fact that no one seems to like it.
Yeah, and the thing is, the cast is incredible, but it's probably because he got them for like a few days each, and just got them to kind of wander around a little bit.
Yeah.
And the fact that Natalie Portman said she found it strange that she was, because Bale's worked with Malick before, and Bale knows what Malick's about, whereas Portman hasn't, and Portman kind of said that she found it strange that she spent more time in a sound studio recording her voiceover than she did on set recording her scenes.
Sure.
And her voiceover is tiny. Christ knows how much of the voiceover is ending up on the cutting room floor, because that's what Malick does.
Did you hear that fucking story? Sorry, I'm just putting down my knife and fork again. I'm bloody eating during the podcast. Sorry. God, there was an actor who... Hang on. Terrence Malick cue cards. Let's see if I can find this. It was like a piece of paper or something. Fuck, hang on. I've got to find this. Oh, was it Nick Kroll?
It could have been Nick Kroll's in this. You kind of see him in this, but I can't remember if he actually even speaks in it.
One actor's long. Here we go. Or was it Thomas Lennon? Yeah. Okay. Right. Fucking hell. Okay, so this is Thomas Lennon. I got a call from my agent. He said, "Do you know Terrence Malick?" I decided I would try to be smarty pants and say, "Of course," but I'd never seen any of his films. I was aware of his name, like you're aware of names like Atom Egoyan or Ismail Merchant and James Ivory, artsy fartsy films unlike the things I'm in. All right, but Lennon agreed to the role without being given any details about who he was playing or what the movie was about. And 6 weeks before the scheduled shoot, Lennon still hadn't received anything and was starting to get anxious. Blah, blah, blah. 3 days before the shoot, Lennon was finally told some information. The scene is at a Hollywood party, so he should be dressed as if he was going to a party in the Hollywood Hills. Okay. So, yeah, he meets Malick. He says they exchanged pleasantries, and then Lennon's good friend, actor Joe Latrulio, showed up to also be in the scene. We're all standing there, and Malick hands out these pieces of paper to all of us, Lennon said. And the one he gave me said, "There's no such thing as a fireproof wall." And I asked, "Is this something I'm supposed to say in the scene?" And he said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Lennon learned after talking to the director that there was no script, just a phrase that might inspire him when the cameras started rolling. And then Malick goes, "Would you like some more? Because I have a whole stack of these." And I was like, "I think I'm good," Lennon said. Lennon later asked Bale why Malick was away. Is this how it goes? Yeah. Every day? Yeah. How long have you been doing this? This is like day 25. When Malick came back, Lennon asked him what the scene was about. Malick started off by saying in the movie, Bale plays a Hollywood screenwriter, and Lennon didn't need to hear anything else. He suddenly knew why he was there. I was cast as Christian Bale's douchey Hollywood Hills friend. I realised that if his character was a shallow Hollywood screenwriter, two of his really good friends would probably be Joe Latrulio and me, Lennon said. Terrence Malick actually is a genius.
Yeah, because there's also he's stood there with Nick Kroll as well, and I can't remember who else it is. He stood there with them at the party.
It took 11 full hours. The scene lasts 5 minutes, and Lennon had at most a minute of screen time.
Yeah. Kroll has maybe 15, 20 seconds, and I can't remember seeing Joe Latrulio. I can't remember seeing him in it. I think I saw him in passing, but if he's in it for a minute, I'd be surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like that. It's very much like that.
I can't be fucked.
Yeah.
There you go. Done.
Dave DeHaan's in it, and it's literally, you go, that's Dave DeHaan. Nope, gone.
I don't know. Is that not just really distracting?
A little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Also watched before I went away. Watched the film Red. Becky hadn't seen it, and kind of was interested in seeing it. So it cropped up, I think, on Netflix, or it might have been Amazon Prime, one of them. And so we was like, well, do you fancy giving it a watch? It's a really enjoyable film, I think, Red. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, but it kind of has it has a very kind of comic booky feel to it. Outside of the usual comic book movies that we get now, it has that kind of almost smaller, more, I don't know, it feels more like something that's happening on its own outside of the big kind of blockbuster comic book movies we get now that are just quite literally just trying to build a universe. This is just a film, and I really quite enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll let you do a few now.
Okay, but so I'll start off with a film that I finished today. Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter.
A movie that I think even Vin Diesel's forgot he was in.
Yeah, pretty much. So
you're the one person who's seen it.
Yeah, my two favourite things in The Last Witch Hunter. You know, Vin Diesel's like a big gamer. He's like a massive nerd.
Yes.
It's like he said to the director Breck Eisner one day. Can we just have a bit where it looks like I'm in The Last of Us for 5 minutes? And Breck Eisner's like, well, what's the justification for it? I don't know. So there's a bit towards the end where he has this hallucination thing where suddenly it is like the early bits of The Last of Us where there's vegetation all over the place, kind of in a cityscape. Have you played The Last of Us at all? Or like
I've not played it, I've seen it being played, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, just any of the bits where there's like in a city and there's overgrown vegetation, it looks like that. It's insane. And why is it there? Who knows? And my second favourite bit is the fact that Vin Diesel's character arc is basically, at the start, I'm alone and I'll always be alone, to at the end, I'm going to let a girl drive my car.
Oh, that's a big move.
That's all the character development that old Vin has, which, to be fair, Dom Toretto would probably have let, whatever the fucking name, Lenny. What is her name? It is Lenny, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, he probably would have let her do that in Fast and the Furious, and that was 15 years ago. So, basically, Vin Diesel, he's been cursed with immortality by a witch, and for hundreds of years he's been fighting witches. Michael Caine's killed off about 15 minutes in, or is he?
Oh.
And Elijah Wood teams up with him, or does he? And then Rose Leslie from Game of Thrones comes along, and she's going to kiss Vin Diesel, or is she? And along the way, Isaac D. Bancoli pops up for a couple of scenes, and it's like, oh, cool, it's him from better films. And the visuals are quite nice in spots. I've got no real idea why any of it's happening. But I don't know, it passed through, it didn't offend me. I can't remember a single thing that Vin Diesel says in the entire film. I genuinely can't. Like, actually, I watched it today, and I'm honestly trying to think of a single thing that Vin Diesel says, and I can't. It's gone. I mean, even Michael Caine gets a mental line where he wakes up and something bad's happening over New York, and he says like, "Good morning, you bitch of a day," or something like that. It's like that's quite a good line. I remember that. Vin Diesel. Nah. So, The Last Witch Hunter. If you enjoy not remembering dialogue, that's for you. So yeah, there's that.
How long is it?
Like 105 minutes or something.
That's not too bad then.
Oh, it ends with a like kind of moody female sung cover of Paint It Black. Oh. Yeah. So you know it's good.
That's the stamp of quality.
Yeah, defo. So I watched a couple of foreign language films, which Ivan asked me to review for Godzilla, and there's a reason why, and I can't remember why. They're kind of all coming out at once, but never mind. So first off, I watched Brave Men's Blood, which by its original title is Borkriki 2. So I'm assuming there's a Borkriki 1.
Yep, you would assume.
But to be fair, you could watch Borkriki 2, and you wouldn't think there was another film before it. So I don't know. Story basically is a police chief's son is given a job in internal affairs. He finds out that there's corruption closer to home than he thinks, and he has to try and stop that corruption. And it's kind of juxtaposed against a kind of middleman drug dealer who is kind of just trying to find a peaceful life for his wife and unborn kid. Very, very derivative. Very derivative. But there's a good encroaching sense of everything's fucked about it. As it goes on, it kind of gets like darker and darker and kind of more depressing. And by the end, it's actually quite suffocating. It's quite well done. But the plot doesn't really have anything surprising. There's a plucky sidekick that you know is going to get killed off at some point. There's a character who doesn't seem like a turncoat who turns out to be a turncoat. And I don't know, it's a really, really mild recommend. If you were to look at it on IMDb and think, oh yeah, I like the look of that, yeah, do it. The lead guy looks like Ryan Gosling, but in a more kind of everyday man kind of way, and his sense of kind of being charming but also quite vulnerable is quite well played. So it's a really mild recommend, but it was 100 minutes that I don't necessarily want to have back. So
that's not too bad then.
Yeah, so that's something.
There is actually a Borkriki 1 that was released in 2011, I believe.
Shit, well, fuck, fair enough. You didn't need to watch Borkriki 1 for this, I don't think, so there you go.
Yeah.
Another one was Gold, which actually was nominated for the Golden Bear at Berlin a couple years back, and is basically set in the gold rush. It's basically about a bunch of Germans who are following a trail to try and basically join in on the gold rush, and they're going through British Columbia, and it's all right. The cinematography doesn't look amazing. I mean, it was released in Germany in 2013, so it was probably shot in 2012, when digital cinematography still was a little bit like, it's not as good as film. And it kind of seems like that here. It's very, very muted. There's not much kind of definition, and given the landscapes, and this film's obviously got quite a low budget, so shooting the hell out of the landscapes would have helped. That's not quite there with this, so I don't know, it doesn't quite capture it there. But in this kind of line of weird westerns we'd had recently, with like Slow Western, Bone Tomahawk, and whatnot, it kind of feels of the piece with them. There's a couple of like surreal moments which perk up the attention. And I mean, the cast are decent in the German language. I will say there's English language stuff, because obviously it's set in British Columbia. That stuff is not great. It does kind of feel like maybe the director's not 100% comfortable with the English language, or directing English actors or English-speaking actors. So the lines suddenly become a lot more stilted. There's suddenly like pauses between lines where there isn't when it's the more natural dialogue. And those scenes are pretty brutal. There's not that many of them, but they're pretty bad. But when it's the German language cast talking amongst themselves, it's fine. Yeah, again, it's about 100 minutes long. It didn't waste my time. The lead, played by Nina Hoss, is pretty good in it as well. She kind of like finds herself during the course of the film. She turns from like just one of a party of people to a strong leader, and she works pretty well. So again, mild recommend. If you never see it, you won't be missing anything though. Shit, I've actually only got 2 more. Shall I just do those and then hand back to you?
If you want, or I can do mine and hand back to you, whichever way you want to go around it.
I'll just bomb through them. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's cool by me, bud.
Cool. So, Escape from LA,
yes.
which is on Netflix UK, and I enjoy Escape from LA. It's not amazing, but it is very, very fun, and I like the way that it is basically a piss take of Escape from New York.
Yeah.
That's
it literally is like a Hollywood version, which is retarded. I'm not saying it sounds retarded, but it is like literally if Hollywood made a stupid version of Escape from New York.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's got some stuff to say, but it's also got Kurt Russell like doing 10 baskets in 10 seconds or whatever the fuck it is, which is mental.
Still a lot of fun though watching it.
Oh yeah, it's mental and it's awesome. I know we have this disagreement on WhatsApp, but it does kind of look like shit though. Like the map paintings, man. Like,
I think that's intentional though.
No,
I do think that's intentional.
No, there's no way that's intentional. You cannot tell.
Why is there no way it's intentional?
You cannot tell me having grey rectangles as skyscrapers is intentional. You can't.
I do think it's intentional. I think it's to kind of play on the LA Hollywood fakeness of it all.
No.
I have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, no, it looks horrible. But you know, hey, it surprised me that Peter Fonda literally turns up for that one bit and he's not back again.
Yeah, there's some great cameos in this though.
Yeah, but I mean, just the fact that he's a surfing guy, and he chats to Steak for 2 minutes and he's gone. I don't know, because at least the other characters actually come back up, apart from Bruce Campbell, even though he's fantastic.
Bruce Campbell's fantastic in it.
But yeah, Escape from LA. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure you'll play the tune at the gig, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, very much so.
And I'll finish off with Zootropolis, or Zootopia, which is great fun. Third act not as strong as the first 2 acts, but the Bunny and the Fox have a really good little buddy relationship with each other. Some solid jokes and actually a pretty good plot. It's weird how Chinatown has influenced both Rango and this, I will say. But yeah, it's as good as people are saying it is. It's a great deal of fun, and I'd watch another one.
So it's called Zootopia and Zootropolis?
Yeah, so apparently it's called Zootropolis over here, Zootopia in the US. Apparently there's some sort of European registered trademark for Zootopia. For something, so they couldn't call it out over here, so they had to redub like all the dialogue.
Oh, so it's not even just like a change of name then?
No, like literally, like they have to redub the dialogue. It's brutal.
That is unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, it is what it is. Idris Elba's a bull.
Well, of course.
You know, great fun. So yeah, recommended. Yeah, for sure.
Huh. I mean, a lot of people have kind of recommended that as being a thoroughly good kind of watch, and it's kind of got a lot of, it's an interesting sort of homage to sort of noir-esque movies.
Yeah. I mean, I will very, very, very happily watch it again. Very happily.
Ah. Might have to give it a go then.
And that is me.
Cool, I'll go through the other bits then. Holy shit, that movie's made an insane amount of money.
Yeah, huge.
It's made nearly $1 billion. Fuck. I didn't even notice it had been out, to be honest. I didn't even notice it had been out, and it has grossed $950 million. Holy footballs! Right, okay. So yes, first of all, I'll do them in order of what we watched when we watched them. First one we watched was One Night at McCool's, which we bought for 50p.
Solid.
I remember seeing this at the cinema actually in 2001. Me and Becky went to see it. Great tagline. She's 3 men over the legal limit.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I do remember seeing an interview with Michael Douglas where he was explaining why he was in it, and he said that it was explained to him the reason why he was in it, because he also produces it as well, and the reason why he wanted to get it done was that Harold Zwart, the director, said it's like a sex comedy. Meets Rashomon.
Nice.
He said, and he thought, that's interesting. And then he read the script and thought, that is nothing like what this film is. But I love that this guy thinks it is, so I'm on board. And it is a little bit, you can kind of see where he's kind of coming from in the fact that it's 3 people's versions of what's going on, and the reality of it could be anything else. It is quite amusing, the fact that you've got Liv Tyler playing this woman that has essentially got 3 men falling for her, and they all have different views on how the same situation's going, to sort of to fuel their infatuations. It's also got Paul Reiser in a gimp suit, and it's got John Goodman in it, and John Goodman's always fantastic in everything. It's 92 minutes, and it's still a little bit too long, which is insane, but I still really quite enjoyed my rewatch of One Night at McCool's.
No, it's fair. I've never seen it. Yeah.
Have you not seen it? It's. Do you know what? It's worth a watch just for how silly it is.
Okay.
Really, because essentially the story is that film opens up with Matt Dillon is going to a bingo hall to hire Michael Douglas, who's playing a hitman, to kill Liv Tyler's character. Liv Tyler's character was essentially brought into his life under a scam where she pretends to get into a fight with a boyfriend kicks her out of the car, then she goes home with a guy who's witnessed it, and then rings her boyfriend and they rob him. And that's what happens to Matt Dillon's character. But she ends up falling for Matt Dillon's character, except she doesn't fall for Matt Dillon's character. She falls for the house that he lives in, because her dream is to always own her own house. At the same time, Matt Dillon's, I think it's his cousin, he's played by Paul Reiser, who is a hotshot lawyer who's a bit of a dick. He becomes infatuated with her, and the cop investigating a murder that they're involved with, played by John Goodman, also becomes infatuated by her, and worlds collide.
Bloody hell.
And a big crux of it is, and I will say this, a big crux of it is she really, really wants a DVD. Never mentioned as a DVD player, just a DVD.
Well, of course.
Yeah, so that's how early 2000s it is.
Nice.
Next one we watched was Dreamcatcher, the Lawrence Kasdan film based on a Stephen King book, which we bought again for 50p. And she has quite a good cast on this. You've got Morgan Freeman, Thomas Jane, Jason Lee, Damon Lewis, Timothy Olyphant, Donnie Wahlberg, and Tom Sizemore. All in it. Have you ever seen Dreamcatcher?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually really quite enjoy Dreamcatcher up until the last kind of act where it goes a little bit too far for me and kind of goes off. But it has that very kind of Stephen King-y feel about it, where it's all set around Maine, and it's about a group of friends who come back together that have had a kind of like an experience together that's affected their lives throughout. It's similar to sort of like things like It and things.
You actually
like
had to
that.
pay for Dreamcatcher.
Huh?
You actually had to pay for Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, 50p.
Solid.
Not only that, I actually own Dreamcatcher myself on DVD as well.
Oh, Christ alive. So you have 2 copies of Dreamcatcher?
I have 2 copies of Dreamcatcher on DVD. But I quite literally would pay 50p to have not gone through my DVDs trying to find it. So yeah, I quite enjoy it, to be honest. It's one of those films that I can put on and let it wash over me. It's over 2 hours long, though. Which is insane.
Yeah, man, that is a long film, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah. Next we watched was the sequel to Red. We watched Red 2, which we bought for £1, either £2, I believe. It's not as good as the first. It gets bogged down with trying to do too much of the things that were good in the first movie. And that's what kind of affects it a little bit too badly in it. Anthony Hopkins ruins it by being way too Anthony Hopkins-y in it. And yeah, it kind of gets bogged down by attempting to up the ante of the first movie. What I will say, though, is it's not going to happen, but if a third movie did happen, I'd happily watch it, because I was still entertained enough while I was watching Red 2. But whereas Red is thoroughly entertaining, this becomes a little bit of a slog to watch at points.
Yeah, sure.
Next we watched was our most expensive of our movies, covering almost an entire third of our budget.
Wow.
But Becky really likes it, so when she saw it in CX, she went, "Yeah, we're getting that because I want to watch that on Sunday afternoon," which we did watch it on Sunday late morning, I think it was actually we watched it, which was a film we were also wanting to watch because the sequel comes out very soon, which was Now You See Me, which we bought for £3. I still really enjoy Now You See Me, actually. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a surprise.
I'm not going to pay for it, but I'll probably rewatch it before Now You See Me 2 comes out, in fairness.
Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't have paid. The thing is, if it had been on iTunes for $2.99, I wouldn't have bought it. I'd have just either watched it on one of the streaming services, which I assume it will be on, or I'd have downloaded it and gone, do you know what? Fuck you, sue me, because I watched it in the cinema. So it would have been that one. But yeah, I because of the situation we're in, we were going to spend a tenner, and we went through that. I was happy to pay the £3 to watch it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's stupid. It's still let down a little bit by there's a few bits where you go, do you know what? If you're doing a lot of sort of magic-y stuff, mixing it then with over-the-top special effects starts to ruin it a little bit, the idea of it, of the illusion bits. But I'm still looking forward to the sequel, as in a way as if there wasn't a sequel, I wouldn't ever have said they should make a sequel and Now You See Me. But the fact that there is a sequel, I will watch it.
I love the fact that they've already got a third one planned.
Yeah, they have. Do you know why? Because this movie made $350 million, and it cost like 75. The next one I think has cost $100 million, and it will probably make back more than that. To be honest, I'd be surprised if that doesn't make at least a profit.
Yeah, sure. That's mental.
It is mental, but like I say, I will happily watch it. To be honest, I'm not exactly looking forward to it, but if there's fuck all else out that week, I'm damn sure we'll be covering it.
Yeah, no, fine.
Next one was The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Solid.
The Rennie Harlin directed movie, which we should all look at and say, yes, Rennie Harlin directed it, and yes, Rennie Harlin has directed some terrible movies, but it's written by Shane Black, and it has some very Shane Blacky kind of moments of dialogue in it, like Samuel L. Jackson saying to a guy he's bursting on who's having sex with a prostitute, that he's going to shop him to the police, etc., for soliciting, and he'll spend the next 10 years in jail. getting fucked in the ass, and if he doesn't go to jail, he will personally pay people to fuck him in the ass for the next 10 years. Nice. Is fantastic. And the line, are you just stupid, or did you have lessons? Were you born stupid, or did you have lessons? Well, actually, I had lessons, thank you. It's fantastic. It's I'm taking you've seen Monkey's Good Night. Yeah. Is it been a long time since you've seen it?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Rewatch it because it's so much fucking fun.
Yeah, cool.
I had an absolute blast with it. It's ridiculous to think that this is a movie where Gina Davis is playing an action star.
Yeah, that's mental.
It is mental, but you know what? She kind of pulls it off. It's at its best when you're noticing that it's a Shane Black screenplay.
Sure.
Is when it's at its best, and it just made me look at it and go, "Oh, I cannot wait for The Nice Guys. I cannot wait for The Nice Guys." Just because it's that patter. Once you get into that patter of blackisms, it's just magnificent.
I had a fucking invite for a screening of that next Tuesday, man. And like, if I could have got the afternoon off next Tuesday, I'd probably go.
I probably would have gone if I could have got afternoons off for that. But I can't justify it.
Nah, neither can I.
I'm so looking forward to that movie. This is fantastic. Brian Cox is great. Samuel Jackson has some of the weirdest outfits that he's worn, and that's saying something. Action's great. The dialogue is fantastic. You can understand, because of one of the scenes in it, why it's never really got... Because I don't think it's ever had a Blu-ray release, I think. And a lot of people are saying, well, it should do. But quite literally in it, Shane Black almost gives the idea or predicts the 9/11 attacks.
Nice. Fucking hell.
By quite literally saying, one of the characters states that they attempted to blow up... the government attempts to blow up the Twin Towers to incite a political war. So, yeah. When they explain it, because I remember that bit. It has had a Blu-ray release in the US, but I remember that bit. I remember it being kind of muted, as that's why it never kind of ends up on TV or on Blu-ray or on like iTunes and things like that, is because of that.
Kind of makes sense.
And you kind of go, do you know what? Yeah, I can kind of see it. And the final one we watched wasn't one that was bought from CEX. It was a tradition of now what I always do whenever I go to the cabin is I always watch Hot Tub Time Machine in a hot tub. So I watched Hot Tub Time Machine at midnight last night in a hot tub, drinking gin and beer. And I still don't care what people say. I couldn't give a shit what people think about that movie. I still absolutely adore it.
On you. I like that you like it so much.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those movies where the minute I start watching it, I just get hit by a wave of calm and a wave of, do you know what? For the next 90 odd minutes, I'm just going to enjoy a movie that I actually like that most people hate.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, so that was... Yeah, exactly. That was what I watched. I can probably now to the point of where I can recite that movie pretty much from start to finish.
Bloody hell.
I know. But it's still, there's still some just fucking great fucking cracks in that. Right. Yes, so that's it. That's everything I watched, which was quite a lot last week, actually.
Yeah, fair play, man. That was good. Okay, so we don't have any emails. But let's have a look. I know we have at least one Twitter question.
Oh, I actually have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Quickly. I noticed you posted on Instagram the other day that you'd received Chappie.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Oh. Have you not watched it yet?
No, I've watched bits.
Yes.
I started watching bits and I was like, I don't know whether I could be asked to watch Chappie again for 2 hours. As much as I like it, like I watched it twice last year and I'm like, I have this now.
It's something that you might want to watch again in 2 or 3 years' time, but you don't know whether you want to watch it right now.
I was just like, I want to see what it looks like in 4K, and now I know what it looks like in 4K.
But you also got Room, I noticed, on there on Blu-ray.
Yes.
So is that it now? You're off digital and you're back on Blu-ray and 4K?
When I do buy things, yeah, I think probably, but I'm not going to be buying in nearly the fucking amount that I used to. I'll say that for free. And
so you bought Room on Blu-ray?
Yeah, because like Studio Canal
How much
haven't
was
said
it?
15 quid.
Is it not available on iTunes then?
It might be. I don't know.
Yeah,
There
$13.99.
you go.
It's quite expensive, that, isn't it?
Extra quid.
Right. Here's a point that I'm going to kind of throw out there. It is. I'm fully on board with the digital train now. I'm only going to buy the odd thing on Blu-ray. But for instance, when I just look for Room, then right next to it on the little iTunes tab bit was Boiler Room, the 2000 movie, which essentially was the kind of inspired by the Wolf of Wall Street book, and the whole story of what's his name from Wolf of Wall Street. Now, I clicked on that and thought, oh, Boiler, I haven't seen that in ages. I'd quite like to rewatch that. $13.99. Why the fuck's Boiler Room $13.99? If that had been $5.99, I'd have bought it and been watching it tonight. But it's not. It's $13.99. And that is insanity that movie is that much money to buy.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's the pricing on iTunes is
weird.
Odd. It's really odd because sometimes you can get really, really, really good deals, But then if something's not on sale, it's like I'm not paying that for that.
Well, I don't buy stuff that's not on sale. But I mean, for instance, like today I bought Prisoners.
Oh, how much was that?
$3.99.
Really? You see, there you go. That's fine.
That's brilliant. That's spot on. I'll happily pay $3.99 for Prisoners. Currently, The Fighter is $3.99. Perks and a Wallflower is $3.99. So there's some decent stuff. Blade Runner, the 30th anniversary edition, is $3.99 on iTunes.
Oh, I think that might have some extras as well.
Yeah, now I already own that on Blu-ray 3 times. Actually, I own Blade Runner on Blu-ray because it's Becky's favourite movie. But that's almost making me go, I might just get that, just so I've bought it on every possible format you can buy it on. So you do get stuff like that, but then you get the random weirdness of things being $13.99. Like, I really want to buy Deep Cover, but it doesn't have I don't think it has a Blu-ray, and it is. I keep checking this on iTunes like weekly, and I haven't checked it yet this week. Films. It appears to maybe not even be there anymore. I know it's still there. Deep Cover, $13.99. See, that's if that was $7.99, I'd buy it. But I'm not paying $13.99 for it. It's insanity. And why is it $13.99? It's a 1992 movie that barely anybody's seen.
I'd love to know how many copies of that they've sold at $13.99.
Exactly. And I guarantee you stick that on at $5.99 and stick it on, put it, I don't know, Jeff Goldblum because Independence Day is coming out.
Sure.
Is it going to get dropped down to $5.99 there? Who knows? I hope so, but I doubt it. But yeah, so I just can't bring myself to spend $13.99 on it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Like with the physical media, at least I kind of have a choice, and I'm not a captive market. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm not going to be buying nearly as much, man. I mean, it's like if I think something's going to come out on 4K in the foreseeable, I will wait. It's just because I don't think Room's going to come out on 4K in the foreseeable. So.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm literally with it now. I'm not buying that much. I've got enough that I can watch with going to the cinema. For instance, Hateful Eight's been out for a couple of weeks now on iTunes and physical media. I really like. There's a really nice looking steelbook of it, and I might get that. But beyond that, at the moment, I'm also. Can I even be bothered to buy it? There's a Build Your Collection sale on as well that's just come up.
On iTunes?
Yeah, $2.99 movies.
What is that?
Films at $2.99. You've got Titanic.
Solid.
We bought a Zoo, In Time, Predator, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I'll just give you some kind of greatest hits. And that's pretty much it for the $2.99ers. That's worth it, yeah. $3.99. What have you got here? Prometheus, The Heat, Grand Budapest Hotel, Commander, Die Hard, 49 Stars, The A-Team, Lincoln, Monuments Men, The Counselor. What else we got? That's pretty much it. And there's a few kind of $4.99, including the most recent Hitman, Kingsman, Spy, Taken 3, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
That's not bad.
Some of those quite good.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't know. Yeah, I mean I can't be asked unless it really comes at me. I'm like, yeah, I want that now. I kind of, even though I've gone back to physical media, I still am slightly adverse to just buying shit now. I think that like not buying shit for a while and then going back to it has just made me think, do I actually want this before I buy it?
Well, that's it. You know, you look at sometimes you look at things and go, right, how much have I spent and how much am I actually going to watch? Because I can quite easily go through. I can quite easily at those $2.99, those $3.99ers, spend £25, but I might not watch some of them for 6 months, maybe even longer. So what's the point? Why don't I just double two of those together and get three of those together and get some of this £12 that I'm going to watch today? But I can't bring myself to do it. It's really weird. What is it? But yeah, it's kind of that. I'm looking at going, it's not that I don't want to spend the money. It's just, do I really need to?
I'll tell you what as well, right? The 4K player, you play a DVD in there. Like, we were playing Lottie's Blaze and the Monster Machines DVD in there the other day. Random lines appear on the screen. Where it's like, it's trying to do upscaling and can't deal with it.
Is it alright with Blu-ray doing that? Just DVD?
And 4K, it seems to be fine. But yeah, it's noticeable though. Like, Donna was like, what's that? And I was like, I haven't got a fucking clue.
Are you tempted to stick an old Blu-ray in it? Like a real kind of like first run fucking Blu-ray and see what that looks like?
Maybe. I mean, we watched... I watched Star Wars The Force Awakens again.
Again?
Yeah.
Or was it the first time you watched it at home?
Again. Because Don hadn't seen it yet. And at the end of it, she actually, when Luke turned around and lifted it and undid his hood, she actually said, "Who's that?"
Brilliant.
Because she didn't recognise him, I was like, "Are you serious?" She was like, "What? That's Luke Skywalker?" I was like, "Yeah." Oh, I didn't recognise him. Oh, he looks different, doesn't he?
But it's true. He does look a lot older.
Yeah, so, but I don't know. I'd love to know, like, are you actually taking the piss? I don't know if you are or not. But no, to be fair, he does look different. So, but it made me laugh.
Sweet.
But yeah, there you go. I don't know. I'm kind of out of juice. I don't know about you.
No, I think, have we got any questions or anything?
Oh yeah, we've got a couple actually.
Cool.
So TGP73, which character from the Australian soap Neighbours, past or present, would you most want to live next to and why? Toadie, because he'd have good parties, but he'd respect you if you wanted him to shut up.
I once did Toadie have. Was Toadie the one that had a little brother?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Toadie. No, Stonefish was the brother, and Toadie was the older brother. Toadfish, yeah. I got into a minor scuffle with him in a pub in York.
Really?
Yes, because he was absolutely hammered, right? And I was stood next to him at a urinal. He's absolutely hammered, and I turned around and kind of looked at him, and because you occasionally, when you're a little bit drunk, you make eye contact with somebody at a urinal, and it's weird. And I made eye contact with him and thought, why do I recognise that guy? And he turned around and went, sorry, why are you looking at me peeing? But as he turned around holding his junk.
Oh, no.
And I was like, whoa, dude, you kind of just peed on my foot a little bit there. And he's like, yeah, but you were looking at me peeing. I was like, I thought I recognised you. He was in, was it 2 pints lager and a packet of crisps or something like that? over here, something like that. Anyway, I was like, you just peed on my foot. He's like, you were looking at all I was peeing. I was like, yeah, because I thought I recognised. Where do I recognise you from? And then he told me, I was like, that's it. He's like, yeah, but we haven't kind of worked through this you looking while I'm peeing thing. It's like, I've just explained it to you. I vaguely recognised you from something. And then he pushed me, but a really like half-assed push. Like his brain had said, push him. And halfway through doing it, he went, really, you probably shouldn't, actually. This is quite an unreasonable understanding. Yeah. And in the end, I ended up having a pint with him. And sat with him, I went out I drinks with him a couple of times in York. Oh, nice. But yeah, he was a random one. Whoever Chris Hemsworth played, because I'm guessing he was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, of course he was in it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Or Russell Crowe. Because Russell Crowe was in one of them, I'm sure he was.
Yeah, he might have been.
He will have been. Russell Crowe will have been in one of them. If we've got any other questions, I will find out.
Yeah, do it. At Drashig, Christopher Martin, pub film screenings, good idea. No.
Depends.
No, if I'm in a pub and I'm actually with people, I'll have a chat. Like, if I want to watch a film, I'll be in a setting more conducive to watching a film. I'd be pretty hardcore on that, in fairness.
I don't mind having hosted screenings in pubs. They have their merits in some way. The problem is, it's whether or not you're going to have them where the film is on and people are paying to go and see the film. The problem is you'll have people who are paying to go and see the film in that environment where it's screen bigger than the screen they've got at home and they want to watch the film, versus those who are paying to go and watch it where they can drink and have a laugh with watching the film. So then you've got to look at what you're going to screen. For instance, you wouldn't fucking screen Schindler's List in a pub, but you could screen something like Return of the Living Dead that we screened. The problem is then you're hitting the point of some people who want to just sit and watch the film and some people who kind of want to react to the film there. So you kind of end up with this weird kind of mix-up of what's going on, really. So it ends up being not everything quite kind of sits, really. It's a really strange kind of way that it works, in the sense that I agree with the idea of it, but in practicality it doesn't really work, really. Yeah. But then again, Die Hard was the last film we screened, I think. And we screened it just around kind of Christmas. I think it was even like on December the 23rd. And we kind of said, oh, by the way, he was in Neighbours.
Nice.
Quite a few episodes, actually. Yeah, when we said, we want this to be more of an interactive thing. We want everyone to get a little bit drunk and we want people to kind of react to it. So we pre-warned people before that, and it ended up being probably our most popular screening, to be honest.
Oh, nice. Well, fair enough then.
Yeah, and that was when we moved from a club to an actual pub setting, and the reason why we ended up stopping doing the pub was because we couldn't marry up the idea of everything sort of fitting together with the movies. It didn't kind of work out.
Yeah, no, quite. That was a shame. I don't know. There's a particular environment I'd want to watch a film in. That's not one of them.
Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't go and see one.
Yeah.
Because if I'm watching a film, I want to watch the film. But if I happen to turn up in a pub and they were showing Escape from New York, for instance, I would probably be kind of half watching it and half having a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I don't know, I don't think I'd be very comfortable with.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Cool.
Nice. Okay, so next week, everybody wants some?
Yes. Is that what's out?
Yes. It's that Green Room's out as well, so I mean you could do yourself.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could do yourself a double header with that.
Yes, I'll see what I can do. Yeah. That's the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, isn't it? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Seeing how Richard Linklater takes on the frat house.
Yeah, fucking right. It should be interesting. I think should be interesting.
Yeah, that's Linklater's always interesting.
Pretty good. And that is going to be it. I'm gonna go and be a dad, and Mark's not.
No, I'm not. I'm going to eat.
There you go. And we'll speak to you guys next week. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Bye.